All together again, we're here, we're all together again, we're here, we're all together again, and I don't remember the rest of the song. We're all together again, we're here. I'm the only one who's queer, I think.
Yay.
Hey.
Yay.
Hi.
We are back.
Welcome back. Another episode of Creatives Anonymous. Hello, listener. And perhaps, given that all this shit is plugged in correctly, hello, first ever video listeners, too.
Yeah.
What's
Let's
up?
go.
Cheers.
You see us
Congrats
in 4K.
to Logan and Hector figuring this out.
No, it was,
All pretty much, yeah, Logan.
we just had a brief chat, and then Logan knew Logan's mind just turned.
That's
started
amazing.
reading.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So welcome. This is my living room, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they really can't see.
I know. Yeah.
And-
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
That's very cool.
Hope your neighbor can see us.
Yeah. There's actually nobody ever goes in that room up there.
Is it
Okay.
haunted?
For all of you audio listeners, we're positioned next to the windows that overlook the side of the house, and outside the windows here is another house with windows that look directly into here. So if somebody wanted to watch the podcast in real time,
They could.
that'd be the front row seats.
He's probably just reclined a little bit further. So there's no like sipping coffee. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, nobody entered that room for the first month that I lived here. And then one day I saw somebody in there and they looked out into here and instantly closed the blinds.
Oh,
I was like, okay.
No
I don't
I
have
do
way.
not care for that.
Okay.
I thought we could be friends, but
All right.
Was it an elderly person?
I couldn't say.
Okay.
I couldn't. It was so fast. I'd say it's not someone who's 30
Okay.
or 25.
No one
But
set
they still
foot
had
in that.
speed. They still had agility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No
not
one set foot in
70s.
that room for
Yeah,
40
yeah.
years.
Yeah. The wherewithal to be able to walk. Yeah, exactly.
It's haunted as heck.
Oh, man. That's very funny.
Uh-huh. Well, let's do a check-in.
Let's do a check-in.
Check-in.
Here. Yeah, Cameron's probably
Oh, my
You
goodness.
were gone,
I was
so
gone.
you get first dibs.
I was gone. Why couldn't I come the last time? I was sick?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was 5 days before Space Queers.
Oh,
too.
yeah. I was not feeling good. And I'm now off these clinical trial meds. Not that everybody cares about this, but I do. And the most immediate number one side effect is depression. So if anyone was listening was like, something was off. Yeah, it was. So I'm off those. And then we had Space Queers, which sold out again. Let's go, Space Queers.
Let's go.
And
That's amazing.
I know. Yeah. It was very cool.
Damn.
It was
I
at
know.
the Magic Lantern, yeah.
It was at the Magic Lantern.
How was that?
It was good. It was
Grab my sweatshirt. Keep talking.
okay.
Keep talking.
It was it's you learn things all the time. It was a learning show for me. I feel like I made a few producer mistakes. I didn't have a tech rehearsal, for instance, beforehand, which
I
would have
see.
been really necessary. Shout out to Justice for All for bringing whenever I hire him for anything tech, they bring all the things. So we had a sound issue and they fixed it
Cool.
because they just had the stuff. I know.
Hear
I
us.
know.
Yeah,
I know.
it's
I
nice.
know.
Friends like that. It's good to have.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah. And it would be nicer to be on a stage. I'm not sure if Magic Lantern is our home, but it was really great to just get the show back up and going. And I felt like I never had a chance to really take the producer hat off during the whole show, which I felt like I kind of was able to do at Lucky You Lounge towards the third and fourth show.
Yeah.
Which is the benefit of having a home show is that you don't have to think about all the things.
Yeah.
And then I definitely missed I just think I should have had a tech rehearsal before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some of the
Well, cuz
a number of the issues would have been resolved if
yeah, and I would have been a number of the issues would have been resolved. And I just would have known and could have not had to have a cortisol spike half hour before the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
So just like if I know how it works, then my body can stay regulated. And instead I was like, okay, what you're not going to do right now is panic. What I'm not going to do right now
Don't let
is
them know.
panic.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything, mean or rude to someone out of like the intense cortisol pumping through my body right now. And I like literally at one point just was like vocalizing out loud, you need to take a deep breath. And the guy who was helping me was like, yeah, everything's going to be all right.
Here's some water. Here's some water. Hydrate or dihydrate.
I was like, you heard me. I know. Yeah. So, but shout out to everyone who bought a ticket there and has traveled with us to new spaces. That was awesome.
New space for the space careers.
I knew new space for space careers. And then I just went to Tree Fort Comedy Festival, which was really cool. I met a ton of Seattle comics, like Seattle producers, met the producers of the comedy part of Tree Fort, which is just a slim fraction of what they do for music and other things.
Yeah.
But like, man, it was so much fun. It was really nice to show up as a performer to packed houses that I didn't have to produce a show for.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And it was just nice to vibe and hear like comedy from other people, other really great people. And yeah, so it was a vibe. It was nice.
That's incredible. And you just
Thanks.
come back like,
I came back yesterday. Yeah.
nice.
I am beat.
Yeah.
I bet.
Beat. I went to bed at 7:00 and woke up at 6 this morning last night. I got off the airplane, went to bed, slept for 12 hours. Yeah.
Respect.
Classic jet lag.
I'm like for sure like behind on some work for like my job, but I needed to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't been here. I need to come here.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, I want to hear you said you had like a really cool story.
Huh? Oh.
Yeah.
So this weekend, I did a shoot with Great P&W.
Ah.
And,
Nice.
I don't know if I'm supposed to mention anything, but anyway, it's a call out that they're doing. But it's releasing I want to say mid-April. But the story that I wanted to share was this camera right here.
Ooh.
Right. This camera it's a Pentax Honeywell Spotmatic.
Yeah.
Very brick, very good camera, lasts forever.
Yeah.
Look at that ASMR.
Ooh. Ooh. It makes a cool
ASMR in there.
sound. Yeah.
So the last leg. So actually, let's start from the
Can I
beginning.
hold it?
Yeah, of course.
Pass the baby.
Hefty.
Hefty,
Sturdy.
hefty.
They don't make them like that anymore.
1.8
Parts made to last.
1.8 f stop.
55 millimeter Pentax Honeywell. It
Anyway, please
shoots-
continue. Please continue.
Oh yes.
Okay, yeah. How do you How do you make the camera go? Do you press that button right there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
you just like
So
slightly grazed the side of it. Okay. keep
So the very beginning of the shoot Saturday, right? We go to the this old guy's house who has the biggest Rainier memorabilia.
No way.
Rainier memorabilia collection.
Wow.
Everything Rainier. Like he
like
has
the,
it.
like the beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
sick.
has it.
Dang.
He has it in his house.
Wow.
Like neatly like lined like a museum. Like a legit museum.
Wow.
He sleeps in that house too.
Oh my gosh.
And his name is Stan. Shout out Stan.
Yes, Stan.
So Stan's great.
we
right?
Stan.
And then so yes. Throughout the whole day we kind of just do like different spots for shoots. And at the end of the day, we meet his brother. He has a brother named Zeke.
Oh my gosh. I
Let me
thought if you were gonna say Zan, I was like
Stan
no,
and
probably.
Zan.
Stan
and Dan or something.
Zeke. Yeah.
No, but so we meet
Little
his
brother
brother,
Zeke?
right? We meet his brother Zeke. I'm not sure who's older.
Okay.
right? And
Okay.
the difference between Stan's house and Zeke's house was night and day. Literally night and day.
Oh my goodness.
Like Stan's house is nice.
Oh, is it because Zeke's had all Pabst Blue Ribbon?
No. That would be actually so
That's a
funny.
great
Like a
joke.
rivalry.
That'd be so
House
wild.
is better. Like, no, man, right near, bro.
Please continue. I'm sorry.
Blue versus red. Anyway. So like literally beginning of the day, like we were at a nice neighborhood. Like
Yeah.
we pulled up to like a really nice neighborhood in Seattle. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I was like, oh, there's a museum here, and you go inside his house. It's literally just like I said, wall to wall.
Yeah.
And then we go to Zeke's house. End of the day. I thought we were gonna shoot there, but I did not shoot there because there's nothing. I cannot. Like my soul told me not to shoot there. Okay.
my soul said
My
no.
instincts and my soul told me not
Oh
to.
my
Okay.
God.
So we go to Zeke's house, right? So he also does memorabilia, like Rainier stuff. But
Yeah.
he does like Do you guys ever watch Toy Story?
Yeah.
Do you remember Sid's room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but it's like his whole house.
Oh my god. Scary.
So you walk in, dimly lit, right? So I have to use I had my camera with a little LED light, and I had to walk around with that. Like, there's no like
Because you couldn't see.
just to see.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
So and then he has like like he's made some like memorabilia stuff. He's collected stuff as well.
Wait,
Yeah.
this is Zeke's house?
This is Zeke's house. Yeah.
Oh, okay, continue.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like it reminds me of like a horror game. Like you wake up and someone's like just unknown, and you're just like navigating through the house. You're just like, where am I? So wall to wall, same thing. Wall to wall with like
Rainier.
Rainier memorabilia as well as like just very very eccentric things like
Yeah.
like Barbies that are like with no heads.
Oh.
No
like a toilet
way.
like a toilet with barbed wire around it.
No. Wow.
Do you like am I painting the picture for you?
Wow.
Whoa.
Yes.
So anyway.
Okay.
We navigate through his house. I'm like, dude, this is like a horror movie. It's like you started with a dream and with a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely you did.
Is he a vampire?
He is a very eccentric dude too. Like two different kinds of chaos, right?
So, and does he sleep in that house as
Yes,
well?
he
Oh
does.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
yes, he does.
Is there any like cozy, comfortable spots?
No.
No.
That might be like
wow.
conditioning.
Hey, shout out
Like,
to Zeke.
If you're like
Zeke's also-
surrounded by
Zeke.
scary things, then maybe the world's like pretty chill then.
Yeah.
I guess it's true.
It's such a weird because you enter like
and how come you guys were there? For what
it was
reason?
like part of our tour, like the tour that
Okay.
we were like the
You're doing the shoot
collab,
for.
So
Okay.
and
No way.
so he just has a bunch of Rainier stuff. Anyway,
Okay.
So we go into the we're on the second floor, and I'm always like I can't like at this point I'm like
Because
oh,
this guy
God.
has a 2-story house. Love
That's-
that.
There's literally like 4 bedrooms.
Full of
It's like a
crazy
big
shit.
house.
Nice,
It's a
let's
big
go.
house.
in pitch black, so you can't even.
Well,
shoot
it's not
it.
pitch black. There's just little lights here and there, like lamps like that,
Okay.
strewn throughout the house. But like it's nighttime at this point, and there's no like overhead lights.
Yeah.
So I have to navigate with like literally like a horror game. Like
That's terrible.
turn corners. I have to turn corners
Oh
like
my
this. So we get to the second floor, right? And then it's like a room off to where he sleeps, right? And then wall to wall, there's like different film cameras just like hanging on hooks like this, like
Oh my
just, like-
gosh.
yeah, like literally like a whole wall covered with like film cameras, right? And I was just like I was a film nerd. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like
I'm
gear.
Oh my god.
I was like so much good stuff in there. right?
FE1 and FE2.
I was getting sensory overload in a good way this time.
Yeah. Ooh, okay,
This time.
okay.
The first time I was like, oh god, heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then he was like, dude, like I was so like amazed by everything. And then who was it first? I think it was our friend Josh. And Josh was like, hey, that's a Pentax K1000. I used to have that when I was a kid. Like I wish I still had mine. And then Zeke goes, well, you can have that one. Do you want it? And he's like, yeah. Can I trade you for it? He's like, sure, why not? Like, I was like, well, I have cash. He's like, no, like trade me something right now. And I was like, he's okay. And then Joel, like the owner of Great PNW, steps in. He's like, I was like, what if we give you a bunch of like Rainier stuff from our collab? And he's like, oh, okay. And then so 4 of us ended up getting cameras, including me. This is the one I acquired.
Way.
Dude.
It actually put up a fight because when I was like trying to get it off the wall, it's like
Yeah.
nailed to the wall.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
get it off, I yank it out, and then like the piece of the
Yeah.
it was next to the ceiling, so
Yeah.
I ripped shredded
Oh
my
my
knuckle.
gosh.
Wasn't working actually, by the way.
Okay.
And then I literally spent like 5 minutes in the bus just like cleaning it,
Yeah.
tinkering with it,
Yeah.
and then now that's flawless.
Oh my gosh.
When I got it home, I got like some clean materials and I
Yeah.
cleaned it up, and now it works. So
Wow. So is that like a really nice rear camera?
it's a good camera to just like it's like one of these cameras like this is one of the cameras that like built to last,
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
That's
just-
amazing.
It's literally a brick.
Mind blowing.
But anyway, that's my
Let's
story.
go. That's a great story.
I got this for free. Well, I'm trading stuff for it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's I haven't tested it out yet. So
That's
Trading
awesome.
Rainier futures.
yes,
Yeah. Futures
Let's
and
go.
Rainier.
Oh.
some part of me thinks is like, dude, that place is haunted for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And now
I-
this camera's haunted.
And I feel like
Yo,
I feel like I
what
took
are
a
you gonna
cursed camera
see?
home.
What are you gonna see? What are you gonna see? when
Watch
you
me
take-
like take a photo, and I was like, oh, what's that? on the
Yeah.
corner? You know?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
It's like a premise for a-
Imagine.
It's like a premise for a horror game,
Mm-hmm. That is a premise for a horror game.
horror movie.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my weekend.
That's sick.
overall,
cool.
overall, it's a great experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you walked out with a souvenir.
I walked out with a souvenir. Yeah.
That's
It
amazing.
even has H on it, you know, because
Yeah.
Hector, whatever.
Let's go.
Wait, what? Has
No,
an H?
Yeah, it's got a little H in.
Does that stand for heavy?
Yes.
Because it's kind of a heavier.
Maybe Honeywell.
Oh, it could be Honeywell
Isn't
logo.
Honeywell like a porta potty company?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I don't know if that.
It is, yeah.
I don't know if they. ASMR.
Yeah, do it.
Listen.
Just listen.
Yeah, I don't. There might be other things. There might be more than just porta potty Honeywell.
Yeah.
Man.
I had a great weekend, and the creativity is at its full right now, and I'm stoked.
Yay.
So cool.
Logan, please take the stand.
Please take the
Passing the
stand.
ball to you, bro.
Man, for me, I don't know. I've been, a big part of this last week for me, last couple of weeks, was figuring out how to scale up the podcast to
Yeah.
have video stuff too, which was cool. That was its own like little journey. I don't know. There's a lot of, I know
Yeah.
something. Today's the
Ooh.
25th, 26th now?
25th.
25th.
Yeah.
Helmer had a song that I produced that came out yesterday.
Oh, yay. Let's go.
Yeah, it was crazy. It all came together really, really quick, and I'm really happy with the end result. So
That's awesome. Yay.
yeah, so I think
Everyone-
that's probably like that's probably the latest thing where I've been like, wow, that's cool. That's cool. I think I mentioned on the last podcast the process of making that record, but
Yes.
it just came so quick, and it happened. Now it's out, and I'm happy about it. Helmer Noel.
Let's go, Helmer Noel.
Yay. That guy's great.
That's great. Well, I mean, this is very cool to have the camera set up. I know that probably took a lot of mind power and energy.
Yeah, I think with anything, nothing in the world is really hard. It's just how much effort it takes, and how
Yes.
much time you put into it. It's
Like finding your flow.
yeah. It's not rocket science. It's you have to look up a fucking adapter and then you're set.
So cool.
And I know that might be a little like oversimplification of what's happening here, but nothing.
You kind of, yeah. You just gotta find the right adapter, bro.
You just have to be creative. You have to care. And if you can care, you can do anything. So
Yeah.
If you put some effort into it, we can do anything.
yes.
Says this one.
1,000%. Yes. 1,000%.
Well, I want to move into the topic because
Yes.
I feel like I have a great segue.
Ooh.
The topic that we're going to talk about today is essentially receiving compliments. And we'll probably dive into the nuances and all the characteristics and all the different things. But I thought as a fun little exercise, we could compliment the person next to us.
Oh, that's great. Hey.
Hey,
Hey,
reflection.
Hey, you're looking good, neighbor.
For audio listeners, they looked into the window and saw their own reflections.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
Hair's looking kind of sus, but that's okay.
Which direction are we going? Are we going clockwise? Are we going counterclockwise?
I think you should decide that.
Start us off, Captain.
Okay, hold on.
Eeny, meeny, miny.
What's the bubblegum song? Bubblegum.
I don't know
This
that
is
one.
bubblegum.
I have no clue.
No. Okay. I think we
Princess
should do
Bride?
counterclockwise. No, clockwise.
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise.
Okay.
No, clockwise. No
Clockwise.
counterclockwise. First one, counterclockwise.
All right, Hector, you start
What?
complimenting
What do you mean?
Cameron.
Yeah.
Camrynne,
Yeah. What up?
I think you're top tier.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
S tier. Someone say S tier.
S tier.
very,
Sounds
very-
less than top tier. No longer
God
appreciative
tier.
of it.
Go.
The goat. Absolute goat.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very unique person.
It's true.
Unique. I think that you are one in a million.
$1 in a million.
A diamond in a pile of coal, was one might say.
A diamond in the rough.
Yes.
Ooh.
A very unique personality.
Indeed, I've been told.
Yes. And you do, when you set your mind to it and you haven't given up, when life gets you down, and I admire that about you.
Thank
Your
you.
tenacity
Thanks.
to not give up.
I
So,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do. I do feel like I'm tenacious.
Yeah.
Thank
Incredibly
you.
so.
And yellow
Thank
looks
you
good
so
on you.
much. Oh my
I said that.
you.
When she walked in today, I saw it like.
Oh,
I said,
Both of you
Cameron,
guys are kind of wearing.
I know,
it's kind
yeah.
of similar, but you got the
We do.
navy. I just
that's
got-
true.
But yeah.
Yep.
Logan McDonald.
You know what? Actually, we don't need to do this podcast. I think.
that's the end of this podcast.
Yeah, actually, I'm not an expert on receiving compliments, so we're
Where
just.
to even start? First of all, you are someone who brings some people together, which is amazing. you bring people together. You foster and exalt art. You
I concur.
are like one of the most thoughtful people I've ever met in my life. I was just actually thinking, I saw you have a tattoo on your arm that says "consider" on your wrist. I'm like I should get whatever it is that I want to be fully tattooed on my arm, because you consider everything. You are probably one of the most considerate people, and incredibly talented.
Thank you so much.
Equally tenacious, and a pleasure to know. I'm so glad I know you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I got.
And likewise.
Stop it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your
All
turn.
right. Hector.
Pretends to jump out the window.
You know that scene from Scott Pilgrim? Scott here?
No, just left.
Yeah, you just left.
Just missed him.
Okay, sorry.
Well, not only do you have an impeccable sense of humor, as we just learned.
True.
Hey.
I don't know. When I think of like the first word that comes to me when I think Hector, I know your focus towards the future is really geared towards community. But when I think of you right now, I think of you as like a visionary. I think that your artistic style, your artistic presence, and the way that you communicate and collaborate as a person is forward thinking in every sense of the word. And I think what's the most telling feature of that is how many people know your art, look up to you, not only for your art, but for who you are as a person, and like model their own like creativity and careers off of what you've done, like what you've carved out for yourself. In that sense, yeah, visionary, brilliant, and one of the kindest people I know.
Hey. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I like how halfway through you managed the thumbs up. You're like, I'm so uncomfortable. You did the finger guns, and then you did a thumbs up, and then you're like, I just have to endure this for a little bit longer, and it'll be over.
You know,
Yeah.
that's like the different ways to take compliments.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think we just received the whole spectrum.
We did. Yeah.
What when you're receiving a compliment, what's your goal that you're hoping, like what mindset do you go in? What do you have to do to be able to receive? How do you receive them? Like I think that's a very like when I just started complimenting you, Hector, when
Before you
just
started complimenting me, I implied that I jumped out
I
the
know.
window.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Camrynne, when you
Yeah.
were receiving a compliment from Hector, like where does your mind go to be able to receive it?
I mean, this is it's interesting. I don't feel like this is exclusive to like working in a creative field.
Yeah, agreed.
This conversation of receiving compliments, especially for, women, this idea of being apologetic for everything is kind of something that, and then also feeling like you don't deserve a compliment. So those are two things that like I try and have been hard for me to accept compliments in the past. But ultimately, like if someone is giving me a compliment, I just am thinking, what a kind person to be sharing nice words with me right now, and then try to just, I've noticed that if you can just say thank you, like that's pretty good. Just saying thank you and like listening to them. And then usually like I'll try and catch their name if I don't know them. And just like what, just remembering like what a kind thing that someone is like building you up in that moment,
Yeah.
So I feel like I noticed that I've watched a lot of performers be thanked, and I think the ones that I want to be like are the ones that kind of just look the person in the eye and say thank you. I don't know if I did that with you though, Cerrone. So thank you.
Thank you.
I think I deflected and made jokes about everything that you said.
So you have a ways to go.
Agreed.
We all have a ways to go.
Yeah. But I want to get to the point where I'm like, thank Thank you. Yeah.
When somebody's saying something like that to you, are you able in that moment to actually feel the words? Or is it something that you just have to like, I have to get through this interaction and I'm going to keep this later and I'll be able to feel it later, but I can't feel it right now.
Yeah.
Are you that way, Hector?
I like when someone compliments me, I appreciate that they do compliment, like, but at the same time, I'm always like, it's like nerve wracking. It's still for me to receive compliments. I'm like, and like, I'm like, oh, like that's great, you know, like, and I still make jokes about it, like, or like some people, I'll randomly meet someone out, while I'm out about doing stuff, and I'm like, hey, you're Zeroni, right? And I was like, oh gosh, like, I was like, oh no, like I'm sorry, like whatever I did, I'm sorry. Like it's always just like that. That's always my initial like thought or my feeling. And like, oh no, I've been, they'll be like, oh, I followed you for like a few years now. I'm like, oh gosh, like,
So cool.
But it's like I'm still trying to work on being able to compose, like, oh, like that's great, like thanks, like what's your name, like yeah, it's still a work in progress for me.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you, Logan?
Well, first of all, I don't think how do I say this? I don't think I can take any compliment presently in the moment. I think that there is a part of my mind that I have to like section off to be able to hear the words that they're saying.
Fully appreciate it.
Gives them, like, the person who's complimenting the experience that they deserve for their kindness. But it will not hit me with what that actually means for like a while, like later, like an hour or more, just because it's like the experience of it itself is really overwhelming.
It is.
But I also think that there is a certain separation when they compliment me when I'm receiving a compliment as a person versus like when my art receives the compliment. Because the art itself, I hope I believe in, and I really care about, and I do a good job on, and I'm really, really acutely aware of its shortcomings, and that might make it difficult to receive the compliment sometimes. But I can at least like fundamentally get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Whereas I think when it's a personal compliment about. And I'm sorry for giving you such a personal compliment, Hector, but when it starts getting about my character specifically, like the censor in my mind, the self-doubt in my mind creeps up to say like, come on, really? Which isn't fair to the person giving the compliment, but I think that's anybody, like everybody, everybody's regrets are always in the forefront of their mind. Okay, my regrets are always in the forefront of my mind. Let's say that. So receiving very personal compliments can be difficult for me. But sustaining in the long run.
Yeah, it's almost like from a creative perspective, something that I've been really thinking about is that I've had some recent successes, which is really nice. And so I've recently had an influx of like kind things said to me. So one thing I've been contemplating on is like, okay, what it like, actually I'm going to rewind because when I was very beginning, my journey of being an artist, anytime someone gave me a compliment that really stuck with me, I wrote it down in a book of nice things people have said to me, which I highly recommend doing. Because I have gone back and I'm really glad I did this when I lived in New York City and, studied with this legend, this icon of a human being, Wynn Handman. And anytime I did well in that class or anything Wynn said to me that was positive or anything one of my fellow students said to me that was positive, I put in this book. And when I'm feeling like absolute shit and like maybe I shouldn't be an artist, all those things, I go back and I look at those and I go, and it takes me back to that moment in time, like how proud I felt. So like, I remember even like, when I was learning how to dance, I had never danced before. It was a new thing. And like a person in my class, like a classmate said, wow, you're really looking like I can tell you've worked hard, like I like wrote that down. I think that might've been the first thing I ever wrote down. Cause I was so proud of it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like, so I think when it comes to like when people validate your art, really, I think maybe that's kind of what we're getting to the heart of here is how do you react when someone is validating you? And then how do you, likewise on the other side, what can you do when your art isn't being validated? I think is also a really interesting kind of handle of this, because I was talking with my therapist, who's like my dude. We were talking about it because I've had some good things going on, and so then it's like, okay, well, let's just say all of these good things don't happen. How do you validate yourself as a creative person? How do you not turn into a monster also when good things are happening to you?
Like ego?
Yeah. How does your ego doesn't, and I think ultimately this is something that he said that was very wise, which is that like when you let things get to your head, it's because you think you don't have to struggle anymore. You're trying to like, I know, wasn't that wise? Yeah. It's like, you're like, you don't need to struggle anymore. And really like, if your mindset is like, and we were talking about this, like positive things that happen to you are kind of just feedback to your system that you are headed in the right direction. You're pointed in the right direction, or like the system of how you're working is going well. And like, but you can't just stop tending to the system. You can't just stop, working really hard. And then how do you validate yourself, in those moments where like, listen, like for a very long time, there was nothing positive being said to me, and the idea of being an artist was very far. And when actually, and I will always say this on the pod, please go watch, It Takes a Lunatic on Netflix. It Takes a Lunatic is something that has been really on my mind, because Wynn wanted to start the first subscription-based theater and he did. Whoa. And he did in New York. So his idea of a subscription-based theater is that the people who wanted to attend the shows would buy an ultimate subscription to attend all the shows, which allowed him to have enough money to put up shows that weren't going to get big producers, that were going to tell stories, that were going to do all these cool things. And he was talking to this person. There was this big grant in New York City that allowed him to have a theater. Like a lot of really cool things happened for him, and this is all like laid out in the documentary. But someone said, to do this is to be a lunatic. Is to be a lunatic.
A little bit of madness. Yeah.
So it takes a lunatic to do this, and he goes, "I guess I'm a lunatic." This man who lived to be 96 and has like thousands and thousands of students who adore him and has changed American theater. Like Morgan Freeman was cast in one of his very first shows. It was in the course, just like all of this stuff. He's so old, and he was so there in the time. There's a really famous actor, Glenn Turnman, who got his break doing a show called Who's Got His Own, which was the first show that looked into the family life, what it was to be a Black American family, that was not a raisin in the sun. It was very, very cool. What he did. And, so this is this man of just unbelievable accomplishment. And at his heart, he always was like, I remember him saying this, maybe I've said this before, but he was talking about being an acting teacher. I met him when he was 94, I think, 94, 95. And he said, he took his fist and he goes, I have a responsibility to teach actors. I have a responsibility. Like he really felt that theater could change the world, that art can change the world. And it's so important about how you do it. And that he had so much passion, and this man couldn't walk. His hands were like this, and he's sitting there, hands are like this, and he's got a pencil and he's marking something down. Wow. Or he, telling us, and he can't see very well, but he could hear. And, it was just unbelievable. This man changed my life. And he died of COVID. So, how do you come back to when you hear positive things or when you don't hear positive things? How do you incorporate them into your personhood and find direction in it? I think is an interesting thing to think about. How long did I just talk for?
No,
5 minutes?
I think, yeah, what were you going to say, Hector?
No, that
That was a lot.
my information. That was a lot. My information threshold was like, whoa.
I think a compliment can reinforce that lunacy.
Yeah.
I think the word that I've been using a lot lately is delusional.
Love that one. Love being delusional.
Camrynne, how many famous comedians are there?
Lots.
How many have
So
there?
many.
How many have there been ever?
So many.
How great are they? Like so great.
They're so great.
What are the odds that you're ever gonna make it or do anything?
Oh, right. Exactly.
So to be successful, and it's the same in photography.
Absolutely.
It's the same in music. It's like
Yeah.
there's no. If you're looking at it from the perspective of like, what's the best choice that I should make? The best choice is to not do any of it. To quit in terms of like a logical sense.
Oh, I had a visceral negative reaction to
Good.
that. I was like,
'Cause it
boo,
takes a
no,
certain level of
my
being-
God.
It
It's
takes
not the best course.
it
You're going to
takes
die.
a certain level of being delusional, of being
Yeah.
a lunatic and caring so much
Yeah.
and believing like in your purpose to want to even go in that direction to do it at all.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think being delusional is very good.
Yeah.
I think and I think when you get compliments on, or when you are receiving affirmations on the direction and towards the direction that
being
you're
delusional.
moving, yeah, it's fueling your delusion,
Hey man,
which
your
is
delusion's
good.
great.
Which is good, which is the point. Which
Yeah.
that's all good things.
Yeah. And there, well, you were going to say something, Hector?
Oh, I was just thinking, like, I was going off of what Logan said, where, like, I would think that there's been times where I've thought to myself, like, man, like, life would be so easy if I just didn't do this, like, didn't do dancing, didn't do breaking, didn't do dancing, didn't do photography.
A lot more money if you didn't buy.
Be like, yeah, exactly. I'd be like, like I should just be working a normal job, but in the same mindset, I'm like, that sounds boring. Like,
yes.
like, I feel like also in that same regard, like with the delusional part, there's people who I know to this day who have also started because of what I do, and now they're also delusional.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, like that path would not be born if it weren't for this, So like, it's good to share it with people as well, and then in turn they also share it with people. So
Yeah, it's massively inconvenient being creative and liking things.
Yeah.
Like,
it is inconvenient.
for example, my living room right now is our
my
podcast
gosh.
studio.
Yeah.
But that's only this half. The other half is the music studio. Like,
yeah, and then some half is Zips.
Yeah, there is Zips.
takeout.
and then some half is Super Smash.
and all of it's actually my cat, Remy's, and she owns
Exactly.
all of it. So,
That's true. That is true. Thank you, Remy, our producer.
so I
Fearless producer.
yeah, she's like, I'm out of here. No. Anyway, I say all that to say, yeah, it's the more tumultuous path, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
And I think a big purpose as anyone continues on the creative path.
Yeah.
A big purpose for or utility of compliments is to affirm what you're doing
The madness.
and affirm your direction
Yeah.
and give you some sort like you said, Hector, you're very well aware of the impact that you've had on specific people in your life.
It makes me proud.
It makes you proud.
Yeah.
And if they didn't say anything, maybe you would have quit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's always funny to me when I think about that stuff. Like, what if I didn't invite that person to the photo shoot?
Yeah.
What are they doing right now?
Yeah.
I've seen it happen where I invited a person to a photo shoot, and literally a year later, they're doing great things with the art medium, either modeling
Wow.
or photography. I'm like, bravo. Spread the madness even more.
You single-handedly, we met for coffee once early on in our friendship just to hang out and talk. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, shit, I gotta buy a film camera.
Yeah.
Shit. Like, we just talked.
That's how it started with me.
And you're so but I'm not a photographer. I've never been a photographer. I was just sitting there talking with you for like 2 hours, and your passion overfilled into me to where I was like, oh shit, man, I gotta go buy a camera now. I really
Everything
want
you
to.
everything you touch turns to camera. Everything you touch.
That's a curse. Oh, that's actually really cool.
Opposite.
24
Touch turns
millimeter, 18 millimeter. 35.
Man. Okay, what do you guys do when you're not being complimented and maybe you're having a failure moment? Or maybe
Like
just
criticism?
Ooh, yeah.
Wallow.
Oh,
Like an
wallow.
ick? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Wait,
No,
wallow?
actually, sorry. I'm a really, really big believer that your art should be very misunderstood. Like if your art's good, if you're really doing something, it should be misunderstood. So I think criticism, when the level of quality is high, like when you're putting in your best effort,
Yes.
then criticisms should be good. I think if you're objectively either that or it points to a lack of effort or something you didn't know, and like the utility of that criticism can point you in the direction of like, oh, I'm being criticized because I didn't market this well. Well, maybe I didn't market it well. So that's maybe an example to where criticism could lend itself towards it, like that, like a specific thing you can grow in.
Yeah.
But the other side of criticism, if there's someone who looks at your picture and says like, oh, it's too washy, it's too like,
You're too washy.
then it just, or if they're like, I don't like the color.
Translates.
You're too what?
I don't like the
Immediately
color.
text them. I don't like your color.
and the color is the thing that you care the most about and you put the most effort in, and someone doesn't like it, they objectively don't get it.
Right. You know what? That's interesting. Yeah, I think on that level, like some criticism just doesn't hold any weight to you. Like some criticism will be just it'll just be like what has happened here isn't for you.
Yeah.
And you've identified that for yourself, and we can just go like this. And
Womp womp.
yeah, and just be like, all right, we aren't for each other. You know, like
Yeah.
I'm not for you, you're not for me.
It's like when you did the San Francisco Sketch Fest, you've mentioned that, where one of your audiences was like all like pretty homogenous and older.
Did I talk about this?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't remember. Will you explain to me what it is that I said?
Yeah, I think you'd
What
went
did
to
I
go
say?
do a performance,
Okay.
and you'd mentioned how you had one performance that was for an older audience,
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
The demographic is vastly different from what you're used to, essentially.
and
I don't
you
remember this at all.
really.
You guys know this is like what my brain is. This is like what happens to my brain.
Oh, that's
Hey, it's
all
all good.
good. Yeah,
okay.
it's all
So
good.
I said one audience was very much older.
They were older, and they maybe didn't get the intricacies of
Uh-huh.
your really specific type of
Your
humor.
set, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And that you bombed.
Yes. Okay.
Well, you think that you bombed, but it's just the audience was a little.
They weren't laughing at the jokes.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? Because that's funny. Because I probably like talked about this immediately after it happened, and now
Yeah.
I kind of feel like both shows went fine.
That's great. No, but you walked away saying like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I don't really care that they didn't like it. Obviously, my thing
the
wasn't
crowd-
for them."
Yeah, the crowd wasn't for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you weren't
The
like
crowd
upset
wasn't
about
it.
it. You were very
Okay.
aware of that fact. Like the thing that you had to offer them wasn't
Yeah.
what they were looking for, and so of course they're not digging.
I'm trying to think about which show that was because I'm kind of thinking,
were-
did
yeah.
both of them not think
That's
that?
so funny.
It was not here in Spokane.
No, there was one that went well. I know for sure one went well.
Yeah.
So it must have been the other one.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know, I also had COVID that weekend too.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I
that was a blur.
I had just recovered from it enough to go. Obviously, I wouldn't have gone if I was infectious. That's really interesting that I don't remember us talking about that at all.
Well-
Thank goodness we have recorded.
Yeah, you can listen to the old you talk about
Oh
it.
my God. That's
Proof
like
is in
a
the
crazy
pudding.
thing. Honestly, that's crazy about this illness is that like there are just like there are things that I do not remember.
Yeah, like swaths of your memory that are cut out.
Yes, it is bizarre. Yeah, well, I mean that sounds true.
But nonetheless,
That sounds true. That sounds like that is what happened.
Yeah, that's a memory not worth having
I've seen
anyway.
your show.
Well, you know what it is? It's probably is like that was an experience that then informed my system. And so it wasn't like a death to me as an artist, like the bomb. And you bombed so much during comedy. Actually, okay.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll remember this if this comes down the road.
I thought that was just I thought that was just repression in real time. We were just watching her stand. So you don't remember because you're repressed to it.
Because probably.
No, maybe.
Probably. I mean,
Possibly.
probably I probably went, that didn't work. And like, I used to dwell on things a ton. I used to dwell on things all the time and then like really perseverate. But I've done a lot of personal work.
Oh my gosh.
And also when
SAT word.
you like
Perseverate.
nearly die, you're kind of just like, well,
You have a different perspective.
well, yeah, you're like,
You're
well, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I mean, like most things aren't going well for me in life, which does seem like, the opposite, I guess, of what I put on social media. But I think when you're 30 and you have to live with your parents because you can't take it for yourself by yourself, an audience not liking your jokes isn't the worst thing at the end of the day, you know?
Totally.
You know, you're kind of like, all right. Well,
But it's
you
not-
didn't make my life worse.
It's all, and to circle back to the original points,
Right.
probably because they didn't get it.
Well,
'Cause
okay.
your shit's good.
Here is something that is interesting about this topic this week is that I did 3 shows at Tree Fort. One on Friday night, one on Saturday morning. I was just there and they needed someone to hop on. So I got to hop on the show, which is great.
Nice.
And then a third one. The first one, I just like wasn't feeling, I was feeling super nervous about going to Tree Fort. I was feeling, I didn't really know what I wanted to do because I'm working on this solo show, but I didn't really want to like, I felt like was not the time to workshop solo show material.
yeah.
But I also wanted to, I've done a lot of, I've been trying to ask myself what is exciting to me to talk about on stage, and I wasn't sure what felt exciting.
Yeah.
So I didn't go into the first night super prepared as I could have been, which Wynn would say preparation is everything. Wynn would have made me stop and start that whole set over again, go back. He would not have been pleased. It was fine. It was fine, you know? And then I do feel like I bombed the other show, but that was I didn't bomb. I just, you know,
It was a blur.
I was asked to start the show off because someone was late and then they were fixing the buzz sounding on the speaker. It was at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was raining. It was outside. There was like a lot of things that were like
External factors.
Right. Okay. So I couldn't like pull people in because there's so many things that were distracting, which is what you want to do when you're telling a story.
Yeah.
So I guess, so I was at the airport yesterday and this guy came up to me and he goes, "Hey, I just wanted to say you did a great job at Mad Swede. Loved it. What an unforgiving room. You really persevered."
Whoa.
Jeez.
You really persevered. And I just said thank you. You know, I didn't catch his name. I should have. And then I was like, wow, I thought, I was like, man, I didn't realize I needed to persevere.
What a trooper.
Whoa.
And I was like, what show is he talking about? And then I think he said late show. I think he might have been talking about the first show. But either one, like that was just an interesting perspective. And I was like, at the end of the day, what this guy was doing, first of all, he said something nice to me, acknowledged that, which was a huge shot in the arm. And then he was thinking, you know, what he was saying was, and this may not have been my experience, what he was saying is that I liked your jokes. They should have gotten more from the audience, depending on whatever
yeah.
it was, which was nice.
Yes.
Ultimately, that was great. And it also made me just, you know, think about the other show. But, you know, I do feel like I could have prepared more on some shows. And that's, if you aren't prepared and you don't do well, that's on you as an artist.
Fair.
That's all you can, you know, it's one of those things that I'm going to get on my soapbox here. Oh, Cam, you're always on your soapbox. I'm going to put a soapbox on my soapbox.
Oh.
Double up.
I'm going to double up.
Soapbox inception.
I think you really owe it to your audiences who show up for you to give them a performance. It is so important.
Yeah.
It is so important to take care of them and do your absolute best for them. Because that is how art changes through people seeing it, feeling seen, being taken somewhere else, transcending into another story. More people, this is another thing Wynn would say, more people attend theater than they attend church, which would be amazing if the theater took itself seriously. And that essentially is his whole thing.
Yeah.
He took it seriously. Now it's his, and I take it, you are an artist because of your audience.
Through and through.
Through and through.
I love that.
Yeah. So when they tell you something nice, you say thank you. And then just factor whatever has said. If they say something, negative, you can probably say fuck off. Because they're probably not your audience. They like you said, misunderstood.
Yeah.
Most people, if they're on your team and have something critical to say, will offer constructive criticism which is better than.
I thrive in that. Actually.
Yeah, which is nice. Yeah, like what you're saying about the marketing stuff. Oh yeah, I could have done better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
That's
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
I'm gonna step off my second soapbox.
Yeah.
Still standing on the other one.
De-escalate from your soapbox. No, that's just such that's really brilliantly put.
Thank you.
All right.
All win. He taught me everything. He was such a cool guy. We're coming up on his anniversary of his death, actually. So maybe that's why he's on my mind so much.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amid also a lot of other creative transitions and thinking about your future.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It reminds me of I kind of wanted to bring back like criticism for constructive purposes.
Yeah.
I wanted to host a workshop actually, where it's like, all right, it's like, because I've seen a lot of stuff happening in town with like photo meetups and workshops here and there, but I'm like, well, I kind of wanted to bring it back to like how I was taught when I was in school. We go to photo. I don't know, did you guys ever take photo in high school or?
Photo, video media is what I took.
Okay. Did you ever? Did you guys do critiques?
I have a critique story.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Yay.
You want to hear this?
Yeah.
This is the most embarrassed I've ever felt creatively in my life.
Oh.
You want to know what happened?
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to share this story.
Oh boy.
Because it looks
Being vulnerable here.
Yeah, this is so embarrassing. So
This is in high school?
yes, in high school I'm a freshman.
Oh shit.
Oh,
I'm sitting next.
Freshman Logan.
My first semester is what my high school was on. So my first semester as a freshman. And there's this person who's sitting next to me who's a junior, and she's cool, and we're like kind of becoming friends because we have to like always work on videos and always like do it all right there. And we have to do an edit of a video of like a snowboarding video. We have to make an edit and we have to do our thing. So we're doing it, and then like 5 or 6 days later, the class go by, and the teacher, he comes up and he is grading all of ours. He just comes one by one and watches it. He watches like 20 seconds of my minute-long clip and just gives me an A and says, yeah, you know what you're doing.
Hey.
And then goes to the person who's sitting next to me and watches it all the way through. And then gives like a C or something and says, if you do this and this and this, you could probably get your grade up. And she's like, you watched mine all the way. You only watched his for like 20 seconds. Why did you like... Why is mine so bad? And you just said his was so good so quickly. And he said, now this is a story within a story. It's like, yeah, there was once this person when I was in high school who would always be out partying, was on the tennis and did everything. And when grades came around, she always got an A. And one day we asked her why she always got A's all the time. And she said, she's just better at it. And then he said, some people are just better at it. And then walked off.
That's the realest OG shit you can say to someone.
And I'm sitting there next to her, just like mortified, like.
I hope she continues with the art.
I don't know.
Dang.
I don't know. It
In
was
this
just
scenario,
so.
I have been that girl so much. I have been that girl so many times in my life.
Oh, GG.
So why was that mortifying for you?
Because I didn't she didn't take it very seriously. It was obviously a grade that she was taking for a class. But I didn't need to be present right next to it and be the comparison for why hers
wasn't so good.
My mind was. That's just
mid.
so.
Did she not take it seriously? Did she not take the assignment seriously?
No. I mean, it's different when you're in high school and you're taking shit for classes versus when you're.
I'm willing to bet you took it very seriously.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I cared.
Yeah.
I'd say
that's interesting to me that was mortifying for you, and that was like someone seeing you as someone who takes your art very seriously.
Oh yeah, that was
from right then and there.
Mortifying. Yes.
I bet you felt probably embarrassed on her behalf, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think at that time I didn't like being the scale.
Yeah.
Being
the standard.
The standard.
This is the
like,
standard
I'm not,
right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
this guy's
the
standard right
standard. Listen, I can tell that you got an A in video and photography production. I gotta say.
There's a camera.
Your audio listeners,
I am not
Camrynne
surprised.
glances at the cameras in the room and the video setup.
I'm not surprised.
That's so funny you just did that.
Well, it's very interesting to me that this is such an. Thank you for sharing this story. That's a very vulnerable story to share.
I think it's so funny. I shared that story, and you two are both like, "Yeah, so what's the problem?"
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm
you're
like dying.
Hey, he's like, hey, this is mid. You did a good job.
mean,
I know, you're
I
like,
think-
damn, good on you.
Honestly, I think it reflects poorly on that teacher. Like
Yeah.
that teacher is clearly not a nice person. Maybe you feel like
You said it very bluntly.
this. Yeah, he was not thinking of a student. He did not care for the student, which I've had many teachers like that who have not cared for the student. I was just thinking, I do this bit about being told I would never be in Chicago on Broadway. And the first thing I wrote down in my compliments notebook was someone saying that I clearly worked so hard in dance and then, and tried to improve. And then my instructor was like, you suck. You know what I mean? Like, you suck. I was just making that comparison. And I think one of the reasons why I loved Wynn is because I had teachers that did not care about you as a person or you as a student. And he cared so deeply about you as a person or you as a student. And I think what you're feeling is like, I mean, how seriously could you take that compliment from an asshole? You know?
Damn.
You know?
Whoa.
Listen, he was correct. You are passionate and very good at your art. For sure. But you know, and that's kind of maybe why everyone likes you so much, because you're like, what a jerk. How dare you be mean? How dare you be mean to this artist beside me? You know?
I mean, to be fair, at least
that's a whole nother layer I didn't even think about.
To be fair, at least he didn't stop halfway through her video and be like, nah, this ain't
Right,
it.
yeah,
This ain't
at
it.
least gave it the whole thing.
Like, he stopped halfway through your video and was like, hey, this is good. He stopped halfway through her video and was like, nah, this ain't it.
And also, were you annoyed that he didn't even watch the whole thing?
No, I didn't care.
You didn't care? No? Interesting. I would think I would have been annoyed about that because there would have been something to
Hey,
say.
work on this. Watch it.
Yeah, watch the whole thing.
I don't. I think even to this day, I don't care too much about people's approval.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you have a heartbeat in your body? You don't care?
No, I think I care a lot more if I did a good job. Like if the
Interesting.
end product is really good by my standards.
Okay.
He has Logan standards.
He's got Logan.
That
Those are high
that are impossibly high.
standards.
That are impossible. Yeah.
Past the ceiling.
Yeah.
Those are very high standards. Yeah.
And I always fail them. So it's always the degree to which I don't meet those standards I put on myself. But I don't think there's much anyone can say on the external that can really affect me that much in that way.
Okay. I disagree with that. Maybe not with you personally, but I very much.
Yeah, I think I'm weird for that.
Yeah.
I think I'm way abnormal for that, and I don't recommend that for anybody. By the way,
Interesting.
Disclaimer.
Because also
Is that why you think it takes you a minute? Is that why you don't feel like you accept a compliment in the moment?
Yeah, I think that's what I was just about to say. I think that's why this whole process of accepting compliments is really difficult for me. I don't know. There's this to know somebody cares is what's important to me, or likes what I'm trying to do. But to say that I'm doing something well, I don't need to qualify.
Interesting, because you inherently believe that you haven't done it well because you haven't met your own standard.
Yeah, I think I have my own way of like trying to figure out how much I liked, whether something was good or not.
Yeah.
By
And
my
so
own standard.
if you have failed your standard and then someone says that was amazing, you will be like, what a nice person to say that was amazing, but they're incorrect.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
I have to look at it through their lens
Yeah.
entirely. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh my goodness.
But it's fine.
Sometimes that it sounds like maybe sometimes you suffer over there.
What?
Art is suffering.
Art is suffering.
And
But
that's
you know
good. That's,
Ain't that the truth?
That's
But hey, Remy likes fries. So.
That- I mean, what are you doing? Well, everything's covered, so she's just sniffing. That's so funny.
You know, this is such an important conversation. I'm glad this is the topic for today because it is so pivotal, important, and you have to figure, and also not important. That's the thing. It's so important and it's not important at the same time.
Yeah.
And what a mind fuck.
Yeah, but your mental, I think it matters so like your ability to create is entirely depending on what's going on up here.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why it's so important. But the words that surround your art are not the art itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the level of inimportance that it has.
Yes. Fully agree.
I-
Fully agree with that.
I like there's like been subtle ways people have been complimenting me on like on the hard work, when I'm doing something. I mean, when I'm just doing stuff, like on Venmo. Sometimes I'll just find like people will send me money. They're like, like one time my friend Alina sent me like $5. She's like, hey, I see you're working hard. Good job. And I was like, go get yourself a coffee. I was like, heck yeah, I will.
Oh, well, that's cool. If anybody feels like doing that to me, anybody feels like sending me money.
One of the best gifts I ever received was after a True Hit show. There was an audience member who I don't know if he'd like me to say who it was, but they came up. It was during the holiday time, and True Hits had a show on December 30th. That was very, very, very packed out, maybe illegal. How many people were in that room?
At Revival?
Yeah, Revival. Yeah, were you there?
I was not
No,
there.
you weren't there. You weren't there. You were there. Somebody came up and they had gifts, and the gift was an LP of an album that I had mentioned on the podcast a month before.
You said
And that, like, yeah, when we're talking about gifts that people give, like the level of thoughtfulness that someone,
That's
just to know
beautiful.
someone's thinking about you, that touches you beyond.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay, so someone gave you money, someone gave you an LP, and someone told me that I persevered.
So, yeah, get Camrynne gifts, everybody.
No,
This is what this is pointing.
No. I'm happy with my persevered comment. I do persevere, actually. Felt
do.
seen.
Damn,
Felt seen.
That's what Hector's whole compliment. A lot of
What?
it was about.
That was. Thank you.
Yeah, because
I'm gritty.
you don't go down.
You are gritty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh,
That's
my
just
gosh.
what I love.
Oh, I know why I didn't come to the last podcast. I'm now remembering.
You were getting a IV, right?
I was. That's right.
A
Drip, drip.
I wasn't getting a drip, but I did. That morning I had thrown up at work, and then I had to go get my blood drawn twice, two different places,
Oh.
and so I was like absolutely drained. But when it comes to, I'm gonna toot my own horn for a second.
Get it.
You guys rock. I was at work, and I was on these dumb meds, and my kid pooped a poo that smelled so bad that I started to gag, and then he started to gag, and then I projectile vomited in my own mask all over the entire bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't projectile vomit on the kid. I managed, but I like had puke all over me, and I went to my car. I changed my clothes and I kept working.
What a trooper.
Thank you. You know, I'm like, well, no one said I could go home for one. And two, I was like, well, I guess I'm just raw dogging it today. Just like, because I'm pretty sure he threw up all my meds. It's like, I'm just going through life raw today.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
I can't fathom that.
Thank you. Would you guys stay at work? Maybe you would. I don't know. Maybe you would.
I work from home.
That's true.
I've been in situations where I'm like, do I bail?
Yeah. Do I bail?
Yeah.
Do I bail?
I want to bail all the time.
No, I think, yeah. No,
but I
think
never,
you're right.
I try hard not to bail. My mom growing up, I sang in the St. Aloysius School Choir on Sunday Catholic masses. And she held this. She was very firm, and I think this is one of the reasons why I'm the way I am, is that if I didn't let them know at least a week in advance that I wasn't going to be there, and every Sunday night I never wanted to go, but I got paid $50 a month to do it, so it was like a job.
Yeah.
And she made me go. And I would fight. I'd be like, I don't want to go. And she was like, you made a commitment. And in that moment, I was like, no one is going to be available to take care of my kid. The parents are going to have to come back.
Yeah.
Like, just logistically, it's not going to work out. I'm just going to have to tough this out, And my family is everyone works extremely hard. I mean, my grandparents are Irish immigrants too.
I was gonna say,
That's
Irish blood, dude.
I know. Like, we don't not work hard. Okay, I'm over it. To my own horn. Thank you notes. Thank yous. What are you talking about? Have we done it? Have we done the pod? Do we have any closing remarks from Hector and Logan?
Hey, if someone talks bad about you, if it's, I wanted to add actually, because like with criticism and stuff, like, do you ever just like someone gives you a criticism and you're like, that's valid, like that's fair.
Sometimes, yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
like
Totally.
And because I wanted to say about like the workshop idea was just like I want to give valid, valid criticisms where it's like I want you to take some piece of information, and like take what we will with it. But I'm just saying that's what like we could do better fixing this.
To be clear, with Win, we're back on Win. I'm so sorry. He was not warm and cuddly.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he
could tear you apart, and we had a name for it, and it was windburn. Like you got windburn, and it was very brutal. Yeah, he was disappointed in you.
Oh,
he was
that's like the worst kind.
He was disappointed in you.
That's
he
the
was
worst feeling.
He said you came in here and you disrespected me. You disrespected the art. You were not, like you were not prepared. And what are you doing here if you're not prepared? Yeah. What are you doing? So criticism. And it wasn't like you're never going to be in Chicago on Broadway, which had nothing to give me except to be mean.
Yeah.
It was, I see that you are an artist and you did not do what you need to do this. You did not work hard for this.
And you wanted to be here.
And you wanted to be here, and I want to be here. We all want to be here together. We all want to improve. And you didn't show up. So it was like that. You didn't deliver.
Didn't bring the sauce.
But when you did show up and then you still got stuff, you were like, I am better. I really am becoming better because I did show up. I did prepare this. The teachers, the people who are experienced had something to say to me. I come back, you do it better. Mm-hmm. And that's great. You want that. You want workshops like what you're proposing. That'd be amazing.
I want you to succeed.
Yeah. So then it's like, it's not like a personal. It's like, I see that you are
it's
passionate.
Like, I want that level of like interaction to be present in Spokane, like
yes,
that's why I want to like I'm not sure when I'm doing this, but I want to host it where it's like we're all working on the same thing. Mm-hmm. We're gonna show what we worked on, and we're gonna give points. Okay.
Sick.
And I want us to go home feeling like, oh, that was great. Like I learned a lot. Like sharing perspectives, because it's gonna be 5 people sharing perspectives, all from different skill levels. You know, so
what if it was a multidisciplinary thing?
What?
Like not just like camera medium, like multidisciplinary.
Oh yeah. No. I mean with
Maybe a Creatives Anonymous event,
Ooh.
a workshop event
Workshop.
for broad creativity.
Let's do it.
I think I have a halting thought to that.
Halt.
Yeah, I feel like I can only really offer what I know
You can only offer what you know, but if it's
on the medium that I do. On the medium that I do.
we'll workshop this idea a little more.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I could
I don't think
say
it needs
anything
to be
about
like,
a photograph. I don't think I could say anything about a photograph. You know?
No, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But in terms of like putting your feelers out to other creative people in a room and to know what your response you get back from other people who are serious about creativity.
Okay.
It might not be as like give me all the harsh criticism, the constructive criticism, but more like partially networking, partially like
You know what I could see is us reaching out to a whole bunch of people who are part of their mediums and being like, hey, do you want to come host a workshop? We produce it through Creatives Anonymous.
Exactly.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying the first
Yeah.
time? And I just totally was like, you want me to judge the photograph?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
never
that's
gonna
what I was
do that.
thinking.
Okay.
No,
Sorry.
but no, I was taking, there was a
I'm
level
sorry.
of abstraction. I didn't communicate that clearly enough. Well, let's all brainstorm.
Yeah. Would you want that?
Yeah. All
We
20.
would love some feedback.
Yeah. No, I'd be very serious about this idea. You're watching
Actually-
the creative process in
Yeah.
live action here
Yeah,
on the
you are.
podcast.
Actually, my friend Jared Lyons-Wolf is starting a workshop for comedians.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he's a phenomenal writer. And I will be attending it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, while we're on this topic of events,
Oh, yes.
let's land this plane.
Let's do it.
Any plugs or anything you got going on?
Well,
I think you two have the same plug.
Well, no, actually, things have changed.
all right. First,
Um,
time to dance.
Things have changed. Oh, yeah. Do you want to go first?
Time to
Yeah,
dance.
sure. Time to dance, 8 p.m. Every Thursday. Bring your dancing shoes and your, I don't know, bring someone with you. Bring a friend who's been wanting to try to dance. I don't know. But I will say I want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
I'm hosting a photographer potluck.
Ooh.
Sick.
I mean, photographer, media in general, like videographer or whatever. But essentially, it's just like, I want to have I'm gonna bring food and like I'm gonna have like a gas stove and we're gonna go to a park and just, talk cameras,
Sick.
talk photography.
Gear it
Yeah,
up.
Talk
gear it up.
shop.
Maybe
Yeah.
network with people. Who knows? We're just gonna kick it,
Super
So
game
that
for
will be on 420.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Excellent. Save the best from over the last.
So if you want to know about cameras, or if you want to meet certain people in the community who do photography, this is the
Who
time
do
to it.
photography on
Yeah.
420? We're at potluck for photography.
Bring
Sure.
bring your favorite dish. Bring.
Do you know where it's at?
I have TBA
TB.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
or TBD. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Both. All right. I have nothing.
Okay. The queer comedy open mic is moving to Wednesday nights at Q Bar,
Oh, nice.
right next to 9. And Q Bar is a really cool thing that Katie Kane, the owner of 9, has started with the idea of this is a truly queer space. So if you are in that room, you are okay if someone thinks you're queer. That's the goal of that room. You're okay
cool.
being perceived as a queer person, whether you are or not. You're just okay with it. So that's the disclaimer there. But it's going to be great. Jared Lyons-Wolf is actually kind of taken charge of this new transition of the mic. Dear friend of mine from New York, and who lives here now with his husband. And so that's, I believe, signups start at 7:30. Open mic starts at 8.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
You got anything?
No. Hopefully there'll be a video of this podcast that's on YouTube.
Round of applause.
Oh gosh.
Round of
No,
applause for
we've talked enough about this.
Logan
We've talked enough.
figuring out
It might
how to
not
make
even
us
be
look
good.
profesh. And to our producer Remy.
Yeah, yeah, that's the real. Oh my gosh, he's blinking at us.
Oh, that was a nice slow blink.
Remy's a cat. for those listening.
Oh, that's true. if you didn't know,
It's like I want to meet this Remy person.
Yeah.
Bring her on the pod. I'm like, okay, we
Winks at
will.
people. That's whack. No, Remy's a cat. She's feline. She lives here.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any plugs besides those things. Besides, check out this video. Oh, there's gonna be a lot of things that are moving in a new direction for the podcast. So stay tuned. If you've been a friend since the beginning, that's amazing.
You rock.
If you're new to the club, though, welcome.
Welcome to
Also
You
that.
made it through us. I almost
Yeah.
cried during this podcast.
Oh,
Anyway, so everybody listening, benediction. Why don't you give one?
oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, oh gosh, I'm not good at these benediction things.
It's not. There's no qualifier to it. Speak from your heart.
Well, hey, if someone gives you a compliment, take it to heart. You know, like hopefully it's constructive. And if someone out there is giving you a hard time,
I was cracking my knuckles for the audio listeners.
Yeah.
hey, just do you. You know, like hopefully it helps you grow. And I hope you still continue art despite what's happened to you. You know what's said to you. So
Yeah.
Cheers.
Woo!
Here,
Hooray.
here.